So I've got a couple of videos in the work of some pretty big things, but I want to make this quick video today because Richard Spencer, the man who coined the term alt-right, was socked in the face for the second time in a week by Antifa protesters. Now, I'm not a fan of Spencer, but that really doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that it's never okay to violently attack someone over goddamn political differences. That's a basic tenet of peaceful democratic society. Don't agree with someone's ideas? Talk it out, or just ignore the person and get on with your life. Freedom of speech is a guaranteed right in Western nations, so you don't get to punch someone for not agreeing with you. Now, I know that sometimes emotions get heated and people become violent with one another. Obviously, we're only human. But there's a very big difference between an emotional outburst, still illegal by the way, and what's happening at these protests by these so-called anti-fascists. These people believe they are so morally and ethically superior to those who hold opposing viewpoints that they have the right to physically assault and silence Nazis. The irony of this should not be lost on those of you paying attention. Silencing dissenting opinions with violence and force is what fucking fascists do. It's pretty much the biggest red flag that you're living in a fascist society is when you can't speak out against the narrative without fear of retaliation from that society. And it's not just Richard Spencer, although this second punching, I admit, was the impetus behind me doing this video. At a Milo Yiannopoulos speech last week at the University of Washington, an Asian Antifa type shot a white burnout because he, quote, looked like a white supremacist. And on Tuesday in Spain, a 20-year-old woman was brutally beaten for wearing a bracelet of the Spanish flag by Antifas.
Este es el momento en el que una decena de encapuchados propina una brutal paliza a una joven en la puerta de un conocido pub de Murcia. Los agresores pegaron puñetazos.
This clearly isn't an isolated incident, if you were even slightly under the impression that it was. So let's get into Antifa, who they are and why they're doing this shit. Antifa protesters are so sure of their morality and worldview that they not only think this violence is justified, but that it is their moral imperative to silence dissenters, who they view as all literal Nazis. Again, ironically, they're the ones behaving like fascists. This is because their cult-like ideology drills into their feeble little brains that they are on the right side of history, which is a very dangerous belief to hold because it essentially instills in these people this mindset that they can do no wrong because they are fighting a holy war. And that's exactly why they are so willing to martyr themselves for it. This is tantamount to religion to them and to many on the extreme left. As Western society abandoned religion, folks like these flocked to ideologies to coddle them and provide them with the same moral certainty typically provided by religious belief. Maybe that's why the left seems so enamored with the religion of peace. They see the holy war of ISIS as a parallel to their own holy war against the Nazis that they see around every bend. And of course, there aren't Nazis around every bend. I don't even think Spencer identifies as a neo-Nazi, even if he is a white nationalist. So what must Antifa and others in the extreme left do to engage in this jihad against the fascist oppressors? Invent them, of course. We've seen this throughout the election cycle, from black men placing white nationalist flyers in mailboxes in Canada, to another black guy burning down a black church after writing "Vote Trump" on it, to a white guy burning his own motorcycle and truck and writing "a nigger lover" on his garage door, to multiple instances of hijabs being pulled off by gangs of white men, only to later admit it was complete fabrication, to a gay makeup artist posing for a camera covered in theatrical blood, and so on and so on and so on. There just aren't enough actual Nazis to fight. I mean, for fuck's sake, even the completely morally bankrupt Southern Poverty Law Center doesn't think there's more than 3,000 KKK members left in the country. And of those, I doubt more than a couple are under the age of 70, or even Republicans for that matter, since the Klan is, after all, an invention of the left. Antifa and the extreme leftists are fighting this holy war against Nazi fascists that just do not exist. So the options, if you want to fight Nazis, are to either invent Nazis, or make it so everyone who disagrees with your narrative is a Nazi. So you can go out and virtue signal your dedication to the cause, which is so morally righteous that the laws of society don't even apply to you. Of course they don't apply to you. You're on the right side of history. You're fighting the Nazis. Doesn't matter if they're real or imagined. Doesn't matter if they're actual National Socialists or just someone who doesn't agree with you. Your ideology is beyond reproach. I mocked the Women's March because, despite being a massive hissy fit of women and cuckboys from the rich suburban areas surrounding the Capitol, and despite bringing in professional protesters funded by George Soros, at no surprise to anyone at all, it was a splintered mess of infighting and virtue signaling that represented nothing. It was nothing but an excuse to whine in public. But I won't mock Antifa, because I think they stand for something. And I think that they have a unified mindset, and that is an extremely dangerous one. Very little is more dangerous in this world than a complete and total moral certitude of one's own self and one's own actions. And it is clear that the moral certitude present in the extreme left and in groups like Antifa is so prolific that it transcends their respect for democratic societies that they supposedly hold. They truly believe that when they punch someone in the face, they are doing God's will, but it is not a Christian God or a Muslim God. It is the God of social justice. The fact that this element is growing and becoming normalized on the left is disturbing to say the least. I don't care how many feminists cry on Tumblr beyond my ability to mock them. I do care about this. These people actually believe they are fighting tyranny by behaving tyrannical. And when you get into that kind of fucked up, backwards, incomprehensible doublethink, your brain has got to be so warped that I would not put it past you to do anything to fight for your social justice God. Yesterday, it was false flagging racism. Today, it's punching Richard Spencer in the face twice and doxing him. Tomorrow, it's blowing up a fucking building. And don't call me a conspiracy theorist or an alarmist for that fear. We know they were trying to put gas bombs in buildings during the inauguration. We know that they at least think about this shit.
It has to be that, we do not recognize the city government either. If you try to close this down, we will look for your house, we will burn it. We will physically fight the police if they try to clear one of our places. We will go to war and you will lose. Yeah, if you had a freaking pint of butyric acid, I don't care how big the building is, it's closing. It's staying closed for a while.
And this stuff is it's very efficient. It's very, very smelly. It lasts a long time, and a little of it goes a long way.
You repeated the original plan. We could do all that same stuff. And I can rig the cans with a plunger, some stiff rubber bands, and a safety pin thing. So all you got to do is pull the pin and press the plunger. The whole can discharges.
I mean, for fuck's sake, even that shrill old hag Madonna said, despite her claim that it was just a prank, bro, that she thinks about blowing up the White House. These people are sick with the disease of extreme liberalism. They view social justice as their god, and zealots are always the most dangerous bunch of people you can run into. So yes, out of the cult, out of the religion of social justice, you get Antifa, the anti-fascists, who act out in violence to silence wrong think. The anti-fascists, who are the real fascists, running rampant in modern society. In a desperate attempt to fight the Nazis, they became what they claim to hate the most. Fascists. And no, Thunderfoot, they're not just anarchists who do this at every event. This has been specifically anti-right because they believe anyone not in the extreme left is a Nazi fascist, as I have just spent the last 10 or so minutes explaining. And lay off Lauren Southern. You sound ignorant as fuck when you talk about politics, so just stop it. In conclusion, and because this video was a little bit heavy, and because I want to leave not on fear but on funny, I would like to point out that to enhance the legitimacy of the marches on Washington, the Insane Clown Posse has announced a Juggalo March on Washington. I, for one, cannot wait to see our national mall filled with clown-faced bozos as the Potomac flows orange with Fanta. Fucking elections. How do they work? If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Aiden Paladin. Altana Volt.
America great again. I love you.